So when you open a file object in write or append mode, you can use the write method to write or append data to a text file. With either mode, you pass one string as an argument. However, you can also convert other data types, such as int and float types, to the string type before you write them to the file. In addition, you can include a new line character to end each line at the text file. And we'll show you how to do that in the next slide. The other method that you can use is a method that's not very common to me, is write lines, which allows you to basically write a sequence of strings to a file. So for instance, if you have like a list with many strings within the list, you can iterate through that list and then write many lines of text within that text file. I say that it's not common to me because when I use file IO, I use it mainly for pickling and unpickling. So writing directly to a text file just for the sake of writing to a text file isn't something that is very common to me. But there are instances where I'll have to write a single value or a single string to a text file. But if you need to write multiple strings to a text file, just note that the write lines method is there for you. So here are a couple of examples. In the first example, we're going to write one line to a text file. Notice that we have the \n there, which basically ends the line. And so then any line that I try to append to this later on or next would appear underneath, right, as opposed to right next to it. And then here, what we do is we take that same file, and what we do is we open it, and then we append Mark Jacobson to the same file. So let's take a look at how to do this. And we're done with that, so I'll go ahead and close it. All right, so let's go ahead and say writing one line to a text file, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and say with open, we'll say employees. So we're going to create a new file here. We'll say employees.txt, and we're going to open it up in write mode because we need to create it as file, and then we're going to go ahead and say file.write, and we're going to write Sally Smith with a \n, so it writes a new line. Okay. So if I run this, you're going to see, again, nothing in the console because we're not actually printing anything. And we'll refresh this. There's employees.txt. If we open it, there's Sally Smith. And then notice that on line 2, we got the \n, so it produces a new line, right? Okay, so let's comment that out. And now, let's go ahead. Actually, you know what? Let's just copy that and make it easier on ourselves. And we'll go ahead and re-comment it out. And then what we'll do here is we'll say appending one line to a text file, and then what we'll do is we'll change the W to an A, and then we'll change file.write to Mark Jacobson. And then so again, if this were a W here, it would override or overwrite Sally Smith with Mark Jacobson, but because it's opened up for append, you'll see that what it'll do instead is it will append Mark Jacobson after Sally Smith. So very easy to do, once the file has been created. And you can write a conditional, right? You can write some conditional logic and say if the file, check to see if the file has been created. If the file hasn't been created, you can open it up with, W mode. If the file has been created and you want to append instead, you can use the A mode instead. So, I'll show you a little bit later on how to check to see if the file exists. You can do that with some file OS techniques. But yeah, this is a very easy way of writing to a text file and then also appending to a text file and then using the \n to create a new line character.